what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship, and you're just a pair of lips that I've lost in the moment. All I want is for you to come back. Now I'm caught in the middle of life, and I need
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Red Pill Diaries. I'm your host, Rashid, and I'd like to thank you for giving me another hour of your day and another day of your time. I am not at home right now, so I'm broadcasting at my sister's house. I'm on her patio broadcasting for you guys, and I did this now because I didn't know if I would be able to make it back home in time to do our live stream that we had scheduled for 6:30 or 6:40 or something like this. But before we go further into the show on politics and news, and we address a lot of the issues that are at hand that are unfolding, I like to say, look, we got a power pack month coming up. We have Larry Wilkerson coming on Friday. We have CIA analyst Larry Johnson on at 2 o'clock on Thursday. We have Scott from Calibrated on at 3:30 on Thursday. We have Lawrence Freeman coming on. We have Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, former U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, coming on. We have Scott. We may have Scott Bennett. We may have my guy Brian when he gets a little time. I just got done talking to my guy Carl Zar shortly. He's off somewhere, but we're going to have him sometime this month. We also got Gregory Manarino coming back on the platform. We got a whole host of guests for you coming on. We're going to have old and new guests coming on for you, and I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me on the most powerful platform for truth bar none on God's green earth. This is your platform for education, elevation, and edification. This is the Red Pill Diaries, and I'm your host, your brother, and your friend Rashid. I'd like to thank all of you for your support. We got a Patreon coming on. We got a Patreon either tomorrow, Patreon and channel member stream either tomorrow or Thursday. We're going to have some surprises for you guys coming up also, okay? And we got a giveaway also coming up soon too. And we're still waiting for one of the people who got the giveaway to give us the information to give them their prize. We've been trying to, Mehdi, been trying for months, man, to try to give you your prize. But hey, it is what it is. Let's do this thing. Let's go into the news now. All right. Shout out to Max Sparks in the building. Shout out to Lee Argent in the building. Shout out to the Red Pill Diaries and the Red Pill family. My guy Ping One is in the building. Salam, and shout out to you also in the building. So you're gonna hear a lot in the background because I'm outside on the patio, and I want to I'm on my sister's patio and on her property. So we're gonna do this now. Let's go into something. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of the so-called alternative media platforms, and I've been wondering when are they going to blame Trump for some of the stuff that is going on. Shout out to Perseverance Chameleon in the building. Shout out everybody. Anyway, I was looking at a few things that's going on, right, with the Trump administration. You know me, I call the ace a ace and a spade a spade. And I've been looking at how this thing that is blowing up with Ukraine, right, and how I've been listening to the alternative media and how they're saying that they are putting all of the onus on the puppet and none on the puppeteer. Ukraine is asking for too much. Ukraine is doing this, but all Ukraine is doing, and listen, and I'm no supporter of the Nazi regime in Ukraine. I'm no supporter of any of this. Shout out to Beer Break One in the building. Shout out to my Holly Horn is in the building. Shout out to you guys. I'm no support of the Nazi regime. I'm no support of the color revolutions. I'm not in support of all of this fascism and none of this. But let's be real. Let's call us ace and a spade, okay? Because I'm trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But my mind is this, okay? If Zelensky is a puppet, and his government is infiltrated and run by U.S., British, and French leaders, politicians, intelligence agencies, generals, NATO's generals, okay? Then how can the U.S. be fed the wrong information by the Ukrainian special services, the intelligence services? We have all established that they are under the control of the MI5 or the MI6 and the CIA and the BND and the French special intelligence services. So if this is the case and we have come to this conclusion, how can we honestly say to the public that the Ukrainians are feeding the U.S. the wrong information so that Trump and his administration can go before the people and tell the people that Ukraine is winning? How I'm asking you guys this because what I'm trying to do is give everybody the benefit of the doubt, all of the mainstream and the alternative media. It has been established. It has been established that the Ukrainians, everything, the military, the special forces, the intelligence services, even the parliament in Ukraine, the Rada, I think it's called the Rada, and even Zelensky himself is being protected by some type of NATO force, and they're being run by NATO special forces under the auspices of the US and the UK, and they even have a headquarters in Germany. So if this is the case, everybody, I cannot be the only one to say, hey, how can Ukrainian intelligence be false feeding information to the US intelligence agencies when they are under the thumb of the US and the British intelligence agencies? I'm asking. I mean, I might not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm not the dullest either. Okay. So now listen to it. I just started doing the show. The neighbor's dog is barking. It wasn't barking at all when I was setting up. It's crazy, right? Anyway, but so think about that. How can, because I hear some of the guys, and I think honestly that's their perception, that the reason Trump is out saying what he's saying, and the reason that what is Rubio and Hakes are saying what they're saying is because they're being fed information from Ukrainian intelligence services, which has falsely led them to believe X, Y, and Z. But in reality, how is that even possible? If the U.S. has the say so, and they control all of these institutions of government in Ukraine. I mean, I'm not the sharpest now, but I'm saying let us use common sense. How is that either these mainstream media and some of these alternative media outlets or deflecting for a reason they don't understand, or they don't want to admit to the fact that all of this is the United States. This is Britain. This is NATO. And what is being told to the people is not by accident, and it is not due to Ukraine. It is not due to Zelensky. It is due to a failed imperial policy by the West. And now that the ship is sinking and everybody sees that the Titanic is taking on water, they want to blame the person that they just anointed as the captain to say he hit the iceberg, when in reality the ship was being automatically steered and driven by people abroad. Man, stop this. Stop playing with people's intelligence. This is what I'm saying. To believe that Kellogg, what they say, well, Kellogg is getting his information from Ukrainian intelligence. Kellogg is a general. Kellogg has contacts. Kellogg has direct contact with all of the U.S. intelligence services, right? He understands what's going on. Former General what is his name? General Patriot, I think that's his name. Who was the CIA director? sitting on the stage with the former head deputy of Al Qaeda talking about your success is our success, and nobody is pushing on this. And you want me to believe that it's Ukraine that is feeding false information to the U.S. intelligence and service. What was it? Ukraine feeding it to Iraq's intelligence services when America started, and we're by the airport, so everybody, pardon that noise right there. Was it Ukraine that fed false intelligence to the Iraqi intelligence that fed it to the U.S. to invade Iraq? What about the Lebanese? What about the Syrian? What about the Venezuelan? Huh? What about Peru? What about Bolivia? What about Niger? What about Mali? What about Burkina Faso? What about Libya? Are we going to blame these people? When does the onus get put where it belongs, on the imperialistic, militaristic people who continue to wage war? By hook or by crook, they'll do it. And they'll blame any and everybody to get the blame off of them so that the loss is not on their belt. Shout out to my girl Holly Horn in the building. You're sharp, Rashid. I'm just, what's common sense to me. I'm trying to see these people are learned people, and they'll get on and they'll say, well, I believe they're being fed this intelligence. Well, on one program, in this program, you admitted that the United States had control over the intelligence service. As a matter of fact, Zelensky and the head of his administrations and the parliament are being protected by French, German, U.S., and British special forces. The CIA is so embedded in the MI5 or MI6, whichever one it is, I forget which. They are so embedded in Ukraine that they have their own offices that the Ukrainian special services have to go through before they can enact any policy. So again, how is it that the Ukrainians are force feeding when we know that the real-time intelligence, according to these same people, is being fed by the United States through satellite, through on-the-ground personnel? I'm asking. I'm just asking these things. Shout out to everybody who's joining us on the platform live. I want to say this to those of you who didn't see earlier. We'll have Lawrence Freeman on the show this week. We have former Chief of Staff to Colin Powell, Lawrence Wilkerson Friday. We'll have Larry Johnson, CIA analyst, on the show Thursday. We'll have Scott from Calibrated on the show Thursday. We'll have we got former U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, Paul Craig Roberts, coming on the show either Friday or the first part of next week. We got Brian, my guy Brian will be back on the show soon too. We got Carl coming as soon as he finishes what he's doing behind closed doors. He'll be back on the show. We got a whole bunch of people coming on the show in the next week or so, okay? And we got Gregory Manarino returning. We got other guests that are coming also, okay? So I just wanted to fill you in for those of you who are late joining. And I'm outside and it is hot out here, okay? So think about what I'm saying to you guys. If the U.S. is and the U.K. are in control of the RADA, of the presidential administration, the special services, the intelligence services, the special forces, and the and the Joint Chiefs Command of Ukraine and the armed forces, how in the hell can they be falsely fed the information when they have special forces on the ground gathering information and they have satellite real-time intelligence? I'm asking you this because I need to know. And if anybody is passing this on to you, then either they don't understand, they don't know, or they're willfully and openly lying to you. Have you ever thought about that? I mean, Holly hit it right on the head. They don't want to admit failure. And so these people in the mainstream and alternative media, they too are somewhat mesmerized by Western imperialism. They'll admit to Western imperialism to a certain point. Like they'll say, again, let's go back to Zelensky for a second. They'll say Zelensky is asking for too much. He's asking for this and he's asking for that. But whatever happened to the mantra from the lunatic Joe Biden and the rest of NATO, whatever they need for as long as it takes? Huh? Did Ukraine start this? Or was this an imperial project by the US and the UK to weaken Russia? And if it was an imperial project by the UK and the US to weaken Russia, isn't it their responsibility to arm and train and to fund Ukraine? Isn't it to give them what they need? And I'm not promoting war, but I'm just saying I'm using what we're doing. We're talking to each other rationally. We're having an adult conversation, and we're talking common sense. Okay. Now, nothing that they're going to do and nothing that they can do can stop the armed forces of Russia from doing what it's doing. I heard one guy say, "Well, short of the U.S. military intervention into Ukraine, open intervention, nothing could turn the tide. Even if the U.S. military intervenes, it wouldn't turn the tide. Russia has escalatory dominance on the European continent. Russia has military dominance in its own sphere of influence. The United States, Russia could interdict the ships that are bringing U.S. weapons and troops across the Atlantic to Europe. And then the United States would be forced to fight with what they have there as Russia releases Oreshniks across Europe. So even if they did, short of a nuclear confrontation, which will have all losers then, nothing that they can do could stop the tide of the Russian bear and what it's doing. Why won't anybody level with you guys on this? Why do we have to play these games? And all while this is going on, you see the French politics exploding. I told you why it was going to explode. People say, well, Macron is doing this and this. No. It's not just because of that. There's an old saying, as thou hast done, so shall it be done unto thee. Right? As soon as the African colonies that were called part of I'm trying to think of the name because Britain has it also. When former colonies they get together, they are called I forget the name of it right now. Somebody put it in the chat. With the former British colonies together, what do they call them? And France has the same thing across Africa. When those nations started reclaiming their independence and started reclaiming their resources, this is what put the pressure on the economy of France. And France holding their resources, well, they said, you know what? If you want to hold those, we're going to tax you. And coming up on one of the shows this week, I'm trying to get this information together. I got it in my I saved it to one of the computers, and I'm looking for it right now. And it's going to show you the depths of what went down and how France was fleecing the people so bad. And now, with the turn of events, this is causing economic turmoil in France right now because France does not have the economic freedom to do as it once did because it does not have the memory glands to suck the resources off. And so now the debt is becoming even more recognizable. This is happening across this is what it's called, the Commonwealth. That's what it's called, Commonwealth. So the British Commonwealth is rebelling against Britain. The French Francophones, or whatever you want to call them, across the Sahel, former French colonies, are bucking up against France. This is the crux of the matter with the economic problem. Because as long as they were able to suck off the gold, the silver, the bauxite, all of the minerals with pennies on the dollars, the economies were roaring. When those nations claimed back their independence, guess what happened? Look at what happened. Look what's happening in France. An explosion in prices. It's happening in the United States. This is why the United States is trying to cower Venezuela. This is why the United States is trying to bomb Iran. This is why the United States is even threatening to go against China militarily in Asia. How insane is that? You're going to try to defeat a superpower on, you know what that would be tantamount to? That would be the same as if China put 6 or 7 or even a dozen bases in Mexico or in Canada and said that they were ready to fight the United States. The United States has military and escalatory dominance right there on its own. So why are we not thinking about that when America is talking about setting up military bases around China? China has escalatory and military dominance in the Asia Pacific. Russia has military and escalatory dominance in Eurasia and in Europe. And now, with the help of China, Russia, Iran, Venezuela, and others, those Sahel nations are now coming into their own independence. And now they are saying, hey, if a war must be fought for our independence, then a war it will be. And we're willing to fight to the death to reclaim what is ours. And this is what has the so-called rules-based order up in arms. This is what has it. Man, why did they shut off my comments? These people are crazy, man. Inner Exiles from Berlin. Shout out to Inner Exiles from Berlin. M. Sparks is in the building. Let's see. You guys, Max Sparks is in the building. Thanks for the $5 super chat. What's good, King? You know what? You say you're glad that I'm back. Hey, listen, I was going to do a show yesterday. When I got ready to do the show, it was missing on the StreamYard and YouTube platform. So my son was like, Dad, we just set the show. So it is what it is. They're going to do what they're going to do, and we're going to keep marching forward. Shout out to everybody on Rumble, everybody on Odyssey, Locals, BitChute, what else? Whatever other platform that we're on. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Thank you all for your support, whether it's financial or whether it's mental, whether it's just being a part of the platform. Thank you so much. My guy, Reef Omar, is in the building. I got to give a shout out to my guy, Reef Omar. This guy right here goes way back with me, like Cadillac seats. Let's see. And Reef, oh yeah, you still have your wrench. Okay, good. Let's see. Let me go. And Reef had it, the Commonwealth. That's what it's called, Commonwealth Reef. Perseverance Chameleon says France haven't given up on recolonization. None of them have, because this is the only way. Listen, if your house is in turmoil and your leadership is threatened, what is the best way to solidify your position in your house? Is to have an enemy on the outside, right? If I can say, hey, somebody's trying to break in our house, now the arguments become less important in the house, and everybody rallies around the so-called macho figure, right? And they direct their anger at the person that I claim was trying to break in the house. This is what the colonial nations are doing, because they see the world collapsing. They see the world collapsing. Incognito is in the building. Yeah, that's what it is. Let's see. And you guys, this thing is jumping, so I'm sorry if I'm not getting everything. Perseverance Chameleon says the economics of the Sahel Alliance is increasing exponentially since nationalization of their resources. Hey, not only that, it's a nation. I forget who it was. They just inaugurated the longest bridge in Africa. And it's a magnificent design, magnificent. And they did it by funding it with their own currency. Instead of taking out money from the IMF or the World Bank, they did it. They followed the example that is laid out by the Sahel nations, that Sahel Alliance. And now you're seeing it happen everywhere across Africa, Latin America, the Caribbean. You see it just spreading, right? This is what This is why they took NASA out, because this NASA wanted that. Gamal Abdul Nasser, who was the leader of Egypt. That's why they took him out, because he was talking about that, doing that. That's what had Muammar Gaddafi so in love with NASA, because he was just overwhelmed with NASA's foresight on doing these things, and so they had to take these people out. But let's see. Good to see you, everybody. Good to see you. Let's see. Reef Omar says, for as long as I've been getting notifications, after, for so long, I've been getting notifications after your live stream. Well, Reef, check this out. A lot of people say they haven't been getting them, and some of them say they get them days later or hours later, which is crazy, man. It's crazy, but that's what I have to go to. They just stole another 100 or some over the weekend, 100 and some subscribers off. I don't care about that, man. I really don't care. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, and we're gonna do what we're gonna do. We're gonna build on the truth. M Spark says, best show for truth and common sense, bar none, on FedTube. So again, let's go back to something. All right, let's go back to something real quick. Why are the alternative media platforms falling in love with this notion that it is Ukraine that is falsely feeding information to the Trump administration? I thought that the United States is supposed to have the most advanced spying apparatus in the world. I thought they're supposed to have the best intelligence services on earth. So if that is the case, how can we honestly say that Ukraine is feeding the CIA and all of the other alphabet intelligence agencies wrong information? And say, let's just give them a little credit and say, yes, maybe they are feeding. But what about the British intelligence service? They're on the ground. Surely they could come and say, hey, that's not right what they're doing. The French intelligence service is on the ground. NATO's intelligence service is on the ground. So you mean to tell me all of them are being falsely fed information from the puppet? They're the puppeteers now. But we're talking about the puppet is falsely feeding information to the handlers. Man, stop this. Stop it. That's an insult to your and my intelligence. Stop that. And also hit the like button, everybody. It doesn't cost anything. Hit the like button. Smash that like button. All right. So we can beat the algorithm. Smash the like button. If you're on Rumble, smash the like button. If you're on Odyssey, smash the like button. If you're on YouTube, smash the like button. If you're on BitChute, smash the like button. If you're on Twitch, smash it. If you're on Twitter, smash it. If you're on Locals, smash it. Smash the like button. All right, on all of the platforms. All right. So it says, M Spark says, well, at least the Nazis will allow us to leave a super chat. Them fools was acting out of pocket lately. Yeah, they've been acting out of pocket real. I mean, really out of pocket. Perseverance Chameleon says, well, they do lie a lot. That's what I'm saying. They lie a lot. Who in their right mind is going to believe a liar? Shout out to I think that's I. All right. Who's gonna believe a liar? All right. Lee Argent says, most alternative media channels are now focusing on the big purposely created distraction, ICE protest. Yeah. Listen, let me tell you something. All of this stuff is a distraction. Do you remember if you listen, remember not Macron, but his predecessor, the one that went to jail, when he was in trouble, what did he do? He started a war. All right. When Clinton was in trouble, what did he do? He started a war. When Blair was in trouble, what did Blair do? He started a war. When Obama was in trouble, what did he do? They went into assassinating leaders. When Joe Biden was in trouble, what did he do? Start war. Now Trump is in trouble, starting a war. Have you heard anything about Epstein since then? Is that on any of the major media sites, or is the alternative media talking about the Epstein stories anymore? Huh? All of they're talking about is the bombing of these little small fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela. All right, that's all they're talking about right now. They're talking about the buildup for war in the Middle East, right? And think about that. All of that is taken off the front page. Remember, listen, I want to put you in the mind state. Let us go back. Let's timestamp this. Okay, let's timestamp this. Prior to the so-called negotiations with Iran, right? Prior to the so-called deployment of troops or F-35s close to Venezuela, prior to the so-called NATO meeting, what was in all of the major headlines? What was in all of the coming out of the mouths of all of the alternative media, and even some congressmen and women? Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. And what was frustrating Trump every time he was trying to talk about something else? Right? What was it? What was frustrating him? Every time he tried to talk, they brought it back to Epstein. So guess what happens? Guess what happens? When the pot started boiling and the frog started bubbling, guess what happened? Mr. Kirk was assassinated. Right? He was killed. Convenient. Because again, when there's I continue to say this, when there's a crime committed, the police always look for motive, opportunity, and who benefits. And they always look at the spouse first, right? And I'm not talking about his wife when I say spouse. Again, I got to reiterate that. When I say spouse, I'm talking about the people that he was in bed with politically and economically and religiously, okay? When you look at them, all of them have benefited. Who had the opportunity? Trump, right? Who all of this is playing out as Walt Disney. Remember, Trump was almost assassinated, quote unquote. After reading his teleprompters, he just so happened to turn and you got sharpshooters that can do that. Don't you see that in movies? Huh? Okay, that gave him his popularity back. Because remember, he was singing in the polls. Now think about this. When people were questioning that, what happened? Later on, somebody was found on his golf course, and I'm not pushing any conspiracy. I'm time stamping things that happened. So this is not conspiracy. This is what happened. They found a guy that had been hiding out on the golf course for over a week, and I want to know, how is that possible? When you have the Secret Service that does their sweeps constantly for the president, and then because it was Trump's golf course, he had his own security there too that swept the little lakes, the little ponds, the bushes, and everything. So how could that man have gotten in there and been there for over a week? And you have both the security and you have the Secret Service there. I'm asking. The questions that I ask are legitimate questions. I timestamp them for you and put them in a chronological order so that you can go and say, hey, there's validity to it or there's no validity to it, one or the other. But we need to ask the question. Shout out to Vera in the building. I thought I saw Vera Vera is in the building. Shout out. Salute Joel Bradford is in the building. Shout out. I want to thank all you guys for joining me on the platform. I had to jump and do it earlier because I'm at my sister's house and I didn't want to. I have to go handle some business, and I didn't want to miss the live stream tonight. So I did it a little bit early, and I'm thankful that you guys caught the thing and started joining us. Okay, but honestly, show me where I'm wrong for asking these questions and posing these questions to you guys. Not conspiracy, it's common sense. And why? And the question should be asked more than anything. Why am I one of the only ones asking the questions? I'm asking these questions right now, and it seems like, and you guys know, be honest, you guys know these are common sense questions. You guys know it. But those guys, people are refusing to ask the questions. People are refusing. It's always Zelensky. He's asking who, and then they make jokes about it. Okay, you put him in power. That's the potter making mark of his pottery. You can't blame the way the cup looks when you fashioned it out of the clay. The blame goes to the potter. Is that not right? So if the cup is ugly, guess who made it? The potter made the cup. So the responsibility lies where? Not with the cup, but with the potter. Right? I'm common sense, right? M. Sparks says, failing Anglo Empire and colony on life support, creating chaos and trying to stir up racial and political division among the peasantry, sheeples, to distract them from pulling out the guillotines and pitchforks. Absolutely. Absolutely. If I got you looking at this person, then I can still stuff my pocket. I see the ship taking on water. See, I'm in the ship. I'm down there in the engineering room, and I'm calling up to the people who are driving the boat, and I'm saying, "Hey, look, we're taking on water, and the holes in the hull are starting to grow." So what do? I have you fighting with the people who bought tickets just like you bought tickets, and then we're trying to divvy up the money so that we can count up how many life support jackets and how many escape boats are there so that we can jump in. And while you guys are fighting and the ship goes down, you die. We've survived with all the money. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing, man. I'm telling you, that's what they're doing. So Incognito say probably a homeless guy. Absolutely. He's talking about what I just said about how in the world can you have the Secret Service, and if the Secret Service did not find him, and they didn't, shouldn't all of them be fired? Should all of the entire Secret Service should be fired? And if the security didn't find him, shouldn't they be fired too? Why would you put your trust in them? After a guy was found, supposedly found a week or two later on your property, who had been there for a week or two to do you some harm, and you've had all of these security sweeps. And think about this also. They had robot dogs there too that can scan the area. We forget about that part. They had robot dogs there that could scan the area of the golf course. And the robot dog scanners never picked up on them. Man, stop this, man. Stop it. Stop it. Stop this stuff that they're trying to feed to you. Grizzly in the building. Grizzly says, FYI, Propaganda and Company just dropped an awesome historical. Oh, this thing jumped up. Hold on 1 second. Let me go back down. Look at insecurity as a strategy. Well worth the view. Boom. Thanks for the cue. Thanks for for letting us know that. Right. Incognito, right? Absolutely. Incognito, absolutely. Do you see how insane this is? The Secret Service missed the whole thing. The personal security force missed the whole thing, and the robot dogs with scanners that picks up heat signatures. They pick up Higgs signatures. The robot dogs picked up fish in the pond. They picked up the little foxes that run through the thing, but they never picked up that guy who was hiding in the bush. Incognito say, fire the robot dog too. Absolutely. Do you see how it goes to insane? This is absolutely insane. 100. Shout out to my people in British Columbia. Cheers, Anthony Ryder. Cheers from British Columbia, Canada, Rashid. Absolutely. Shout out to you and Canada and British Columbia. My guy, Michael N, is in the building. Shout out, Michael N. Salute, Rashid, in chat. Salute to you also. Listen, I mean, think about this. Joel Brett. This thing jumped for a second. Hold on 1 second. Joel Bradford said they need some of that Russian shovels and washing machine chips. Absolutely. Right, absolutely. Reef Omar says, come on now, Rashid. No one was fired after 9/11 happened. Security breaches and incompetence gets rewarded. Absolutely. Failed up to the top. You better believe it. You better believe it. Reef Omar, absolutely. Matter of fact, that's a mic drop moment there. Boom, mic drop moment. Um, let's see. It's just crazy. This is the way they allow. I mean, they put this on the public, the masses, and then the people buy this crap. It's unflipping real. It's unreal. And the way the mainstream media, well, let me go back. The way the alternative media follows up this propaganda is unreal also. Sometimes I'm watching it and I'm shaking my head. I'm saying, now I know these guys got to know this. I know they have to know it because I'm not the only one. So this is why this show is so important. This is why I tell you guys, share the show, like the show. If you can donate to the show, we're gonna have I think 1 or 2 Patreon and channel member streams this week. And this is what I'm planning on doing because I see I get blocked a lot. My son has found a way. We're gonna start streaming sometimes directly from Patreon, and what we're gonna start doing is doing a channel member, and Patreon stream directly, and then the next stream on Patreon would be for everybody. You, even if you're not a paid member, you'll be able to see the second stream and communicate. That's what we're working on right now for everybody. Okay, it takes time for us. It's only me, and then my son is the technical guy, but he's also doing college and all this stuff like this. So, it takes time. We don't have a whole slew of paid people to do this. All right. So I want you guys to just bear with me, okay? Anyway, let's see. Let's go down some more. This thing is jumping. Man, come on, stop this. So let me get to something real quick. All right. So there was something I saw on RT. And remember, guys, join us all week long and all next week. All shows are subject to change. All right, due to the availability of the guests. I'm telling you this right now, because their schedules are moving and they're fitting me in their schedules. These are very important people. Think about this: Larry Johnson, one of the top former CIA analysts on the show. You got the former chief of staff of Colin Powell coming on. You got the former secretary of the Treasury. You got just a whole host of other people that are coming on back onto the program, and they're doing it as a solid for me. Okay, because I told them that you guys really want to hear from them. All right. And they respond to me quickly. Most of them respond to me quickly. As a matter of fact, let me see something while I'm talking to you guys. Let me go to something real quick. All right. So Colonel Wilkerson, hold on one second. Let me go down some. I'm gonna tell you, Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, Lawrence Freeman. We have Larry Johnson. Kevin Barrett just hit me up. Professor Kevin Barrett just hit me up. We'll be having him on the platform too. He just hit me up as I'm doing. I'm glad I looked because I would have missed that. And right now, I think he's still in Morocco, so we might be broadcasting live from Morocco. So we got a whole bunch of people coming on for you guys. I have the same guests. This to show you that they suppress the channel. Most of the time I have the guests first on my channel, and then they blow up, and then my channel stays suppressed, and then the other channels. So that should show you who is truly sincere and who give you this breaking news and this truth. Also for those Patreon members and the channel members, we got some articles coming out this week for you guys. We really got some articles coming out for you guys, so be aware of those. Okay, they'll be dropping also. My big bro is right here behind me. He just came out on the patio too. What's up, big bro? So yeah, this is my brother. He served in Korea. He was on that what was it, Chris? The DMZ. He was on the DMZ for a while. He was in Germany, he was in Korea, he was in Japan, all that. That's my brother right there. So and we get together even after the passing of my mother and stuff. We still get together and have coffee every day. We ransack my sister's house, and it's hot out here. I'm still drinking. Let me see if I can tilt it a little bit so you can see the coffee in here. Uh-oh, I just spilled a little bit on me. But yeah, everybody, we're going to try to bring you guys the best information, seriously, and the best. Thank you, Ping. Great job, Rashid. So, he's doing the best he can with what he can, and we got new equipment. But I'm not at home. Reeve almost. I love Larry Johnson's insight. It's on point and humor. Yeah, he'll keep you laughing. And I talk to these guys behind closed doors, so this is not just uh on the show. The people that comes on the show, I actually talk to these people. Like I can call Gregory Manarino right now. This is what I'm saying. HK Man says, morning, Rashid. Fern Bay, NSW, keep up the great work. Thank you so much for recognizing, and thank you so much for giving me just a few minutes of your time. I'm just trying to get the people empowered. It's something that I wanted to go to though. Let me see if it's still up, okay? Let me see. I know I saved it in my. Let's see. Okay. All right. Here's one right here. I saved it in my phone because I'm on the small laptop that I take with me from time to time, and I got my phone right here. So I want you to see this. If this is not Bizarro World, as I say to you guys, if this is not Bizarro World, you tell me what is. The headline is today, October 6th, from Russia Today. The article is titled, and listen to this article, U.S. strikes on Venezuelan boats, an act of kindness, according to Donald Trump. So killing people is an act of kindness. Now, I want you to understand this. They're not off the coast of the United States. They're off the coast of Venezuela. They are in Venezuelan waters, leaving Venezuelan waters into international waters, and the United States is striking these boats, claiming them to be drug boats. Now, I want you to see the madness in this, okay? Before you comment, I want you to see the madness of this. The U.S. has been in Colombia for 50 years, talking about fighting a drug war. How successful has that been? I'm asking. So you have troops and bases there, and you've been playing like you fighting a drug war, and the cocaine and the crack epidemic has metastasized, and now you're saying that you're trying to stop drugs coming out of Venezuela, and you're saying that the Maduro government are drug dealers, and you put a bounty on the head of a head of state now, with no proof whatsoever offered, right? And now you're attacking boats that are coming out of Venezuela with no proof. All we got is your word on it. And you're showing a video of a boat being blown up. You don't see any dope on the boat, but you're blowing them up. This is an act of war. This is an act of piracy. This is from an international pariah. Because if it was Venezuela doing it to the United States, they would have declared war. If Iran did this to the United States, that they would have been called terrorists, and it would have been an act of war. If Russia would have done this, the United States would have said that this was an act of war. If China would have done this to the United States, it's an act of war. But when it's the United States, listen to what Trump says. It's an act of kindness. Orwellian, what? Let's read a little bit of this, okay? And let's see. First, let me go to the chat real quick because I saw some comments come up there real quick. And I knew it was HK Man. He says North NSW means North South Wales, Australia. Shout out to Australia in the building. Yeah, shout out. M Spark says fishermen's lives matter. Incognito says the drug war is a scam. Free people have the right to put whatever they want in their own bodies. Full stop. You better believe it. Let's see. Perseverance Chameleon says, well, since the CIA supplied the drugs, the war on drugs isn't going well. And that's something, I'm gonna leave you up for a minute, Persevering Chameleon, that comment up for a second, because I'm gonna come back to that in just a second. Because we need to address something that, because this is heavy right here, and most people don't even realize. But let's go here. The article reads like this. The president argued that the operation saved lives by stopping the flow of drugs into the country. The U.S. President Donald Trump has described the recent strikes on alleged drug cartel operated vessels off Venezuela as an act of kindness, saying the operation helped save thousands of lives at home. That's crazy. Go read 1984. I think that's what 1984. I think that's the name of the book by Orwell, George Orwell. Well, they say up is down, down is up, in is out, and out is in. Good is bad, bad is good. And this, they turn the truth into a lie and the lie into the truth. This is what they're talking about right here. When the government starts making you believe that, on the one hand, they respect international law. They want everybody to abide by certain standards that they don't abide by. How can we trust you? If you're the government, how can we trust you? How are we supposed to trust you? Which goes back to this. Well, since the CIA supply the drugs, the war on drugs isn't going well. Well, think about this. Haiti. Let's go back to Haiti for a minute. Haiti is in chaos on purpose. France, the UK, the US, and NATO continues to keep Haiti divided and in turmoil because ever since they removed John Aristide, the president, from power, and they kidnapped him. Actually, Bill Clinton kidnapped him from office, and they threatened him to kill him and his family and his whole administration if he ever entered Haitian politics again, for the fact that when they did a survey on Haiti, they found out that Haiti, the land Haiti, and the waters off the shore of Haiti were full of a huge amount of resources. And he was going to allow a plethora of different Western and Eastern corporations to come in and help extract the minerals. But the thing was that it would be the Haitian nation that would get the larger share in the resources extraction, right? Therefore, that he can fund education, job programs, all of this stuff. And this was a no-no to Bill Clinton, and they kidnapped. That was one of the first times that and Hugo Chavez that the United States kidnapped sitting heads of presidents from the countries. They kidnapped them and held them, put them on planes, took them out of the country, and threatened them with execution of them, their family, and the government. And they made Aristide sign a contract that he would not re-enter politics in Haiti. And now you have Haiti in turmoil right now. And that was done on purpose because Haiti is the transit country for the opium and all of the byproducts of the opium that was coming out of Afghanistan. Remember that the Taliban had rid Afghanistan almost 90+% of opium. They were growing other products, but as soon as the U.S. and NATO invaded Afghanistan, guess what happened? The poppy fields sprouted back up, and NATO was protecting the poppy fields. We have video of it. We have pictures of it, that NATO troops were guarding poppy fields. What are poppies? These are the things that opium is extracted from. And they were shipping them through Haiti from the west, from the east to the west. And this is how you got your influx. And they were transiting cocaine from the west to the east. Haiti was the transit area, and it still is. This is why Haiti must be continue to be in the condition it's in order for the West to benefit off of the turmoil in Haiti. Listen to me good. Don't believe what Rashid is saying. Go do your research. France is still pissed at Haiti. The reason Haiti can't develop is because France filed a lawsuit against Haiti in a European court and won. And they filed a lawsuit against Haiti because Haiti rebelled against French colonialism and won. And France said that they lost billions upon billions of dollars in rubber and in rum because the people in Haiti would no longer be slaves to them. If you think I'm lying, go to your Google, your DuckDuckGo it, your Bing it, your Yahoo it, your MSN or whatever. Google it. You'll see. And France won a large judgment against Haiti, and that's why Haiti, most of the money that they get, they have to pay it to the French in debt. This is real. This is real. So this drug thing is a screen. It's a smoke screen. If you look, when Mexico was talking about thinking about backing their pesos with silver, because Mexico has a huge amount of silver. What happened under President what's the senile guy named Joe Biden? They threatened to intervene and go to war with Mexico, invade Mexico. Go look it up. And then Mexico had to step back from the trenches of backing their peso with silver. When Bolivia was talking about backing their Bolivian currency with all of the lithium deposits they had, what did they do? They overthrew Morales, right? When Russia went into Ukraine, what did they say? Russia was smuggling drugs. Go back and look at this. They were saying that Russia was smuggling drugs into Ukraine. When they wanted China to be a target, they said China was the cause of the fentanyl crisis. So Trump justified that into sanctioning China, right? And then he was talking about that would be a justification not to pay China the $1 trillion that the United States owed. When they were in negotiations with Iran, what did they say Iran was doing? Besides the nuclear program, they said Iran was trafficking drugs to Venezuela, and it was making its way up through South America up into the United States. What are they saying now about Venezuela? Anybody that they have a problem with, they use these excuses to justify military actions to the people. This is what they're doing right now. Nobody covers it. Nobody says it. They just leave it. Short memories, short attention spans, and they let it go. And notice that the United States, this is what I want you to do for me, guys. Go back when you get a chance after the show. Google U.S. blames China for fentanyl crisis. And just look at all of the articles that come up. I would prefer you to do it on something, Google Censor, do it on Google or do it anywhere, Yahoo, Bing, whatever, DuckDuckGo, and see how many articles come up. Now, after the United States lost that tariff war with China, do you hear about fentanyl? Huh? Fentanyl? You hear about China being the cause of that? After the United States and Israel lost that war to Iran, do you hear them talking about Iran supplying drugs to Venezuela to go up through the border to the United States? After Mexico backed off of backing the peso with silver, do you hear them talking about Mexico as bad as they once did? And now, because Venezuela is selling its oil now in yuan, which is a consequence of the United States seizing Venezuelan property in the United States. Citgo used to be a subsidiary of Venezuelan oil companies, right? The United States seized it, and now the Citgos are Cumberland. In other words, the United States stole the assets. So now you hear them talking about drugs out of Venezuela. All right? Go Google it. I'm not making anything up. Joel Bradford says they're not ready for that jungle warfare in Venezuela. It's not going to be a walk in the park for Americans. I understand that too, Joel. I hear some of the pundits say, well, Venezuela has antiquated air defense systems. Venezuela can fight. Don't get it twisted. Will they be able to withstand the onslaught of the empire, because the United States is still a powerful nation? If the Latin American nations get fed up and they join hands, the U.S. would not be able to overthrow the government of Maduro, because there's strength in unity. Reef Omar says, when the U.S. government declares war on anything, the problems get worse. Poverty, drugs, terrorism, corruption. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. M. Sparks, terroristic tactics. Absolutely. Beer Break One says, no other country could assassinate people on a boat on just hearsay, no evidence without boarding ships and having a hearing. Absolutely. And Michael N says, an act of kindness. Absolutely. Do you see the sickness in this? An act of kindness. Or we just gonna kill them and say that it was transporting drugs and that was an act of kindness. Man, stop. Let's see. M. Spark says there can be no justice when the perpetrator is the judge, jury, and executioner. Absolutely. Lee Argent says, yep, Jeff Sachs was there when they did that. See, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not making it up. Lee Argent is telling you this. And Michael N say that's true. Haiti got sued for defeating the French. They did. And they lost tens of billions of dollars in a European court because they refused to be colonized, enslaved. And believe it or not, it was that insurrection that helped galvanize the insurrection, the slave revolts in America. So let's see. Rika Omar says, and Haiti was forced to pay reparations to France, and they still are paying them. Talk about bizarro world back then. They are still paying them. Incognito says it's either climate change or weapons of mass destruction or drugs or whatever excuse for murder they come up with. USA, the United States of Alzheimer's. Yes. Listen, everybody, I want to thank you all for joining me. Remember, join us all week long. We got all kind of guests coming on the platform. You guys got to be a part of this. You guys got to share this, like it, tell everybody about the Red Pill Diaries. Also, do this for me. Whatever platform that I'm on, go sign up to it. Every one of them. Also, check your notifications. Some of you may want to unsubscribe, then resubscribe and hit the notification bell because that may work like that. Okay, my son said maybe that would help a little bit with trying to beat them from doing what they're doing. But like I said, until tomorrow, I got to say this to you all. I want to thank you from the depth of my soul to the bottom of my heart for giving me your ear for this hour. Remember to do right by others, not because of some accolades or because there's something to be gotten from it. Do right by others because it's the right, the humane, and the godly thing to do. Because even when no one else is watching you, remember that God Almighty is watching you. As my mother always used to say to me, God sits high, but he looks low. Know that I love each and every one of you who loves truth, but know that the love that I have for you will always pale in comparison to the love that God has for you. Until we next speak again, stay strong, stay true, but above all things, remember to stay righteous. Hey, mama, your baby boy loves you more than life. Thank you, everybody. Deuces. We're out of here. Peace.
Told you to walk away. That was my first and last mistake. I'm blue without your face. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a